Welcome to Tardisian Files. At the end of the Church on Ruby Road, we were treated to a Next Time trailer which showed us various clips of the upcoming series of Doctor Who. In this episode, we'll be breaking down aspects of the 30-second clip and see what we can discern about some of the upcoming episodes in the show. Without further ado, let's jump straight into it. When analysing the footage and trying to match the different clips to the episode that they belong to, there were at least 5 different episodes that I was able to pick out from the footage. One set on a cliff face, possibly in the middle of an alien or future Earth war. One set on a spaceship being haunted by some kind of hell beast. One set in the Regency period with Jonathan Groff and Indira Varma. One where the Doctor and Ruby meet the Beatles and Drag Race star Jinx Monsoon, and one set in the present day where the Doctor and Ruby team up with Unit, Rose Noble and Melanie Bush. So going in order, here are my best theories for 5 discernible episodes in the trailer. So starting with the one set on the cliff face, this is the first episode we see footage from in the trailer, as we see the TARDIS landing on a cliff face somewhere in the universe. The reason I say that this episode may be set in a war zone is because in another clip we see the Doctor stepping on a futuristic landmine in a stony quarry, seemingly in the same location, indicating that the Doctor and Ruby have landed somewhere where someone has laid out landmines as traps. That said, there could be more to this episode that meets the eye, because in another shot we also see a ghostly figure in a coat calling out to Ruby from a distance when she is standing outside the TARDIS. Now this could be during the opening or the closing scene of the episode, however it's likely that this clip will probably set the tone for this episode. Could this be Ruby's mother, or someone else from her past? We don't know, but it is clear that this person, whoever they are, wanted Ruby's attention. Moving on to the one set on a spaceship, it's unclear from the trailer if we're going to have multiple episodes set on a spaceship, but if the footage showing Ruby and the Doctor on a spaceship are all from the same episode, then we can assume that the Doctor and Ruby will land on a ship, either abandoned or with crew missing, and start to explore. We see this in one clip with Ruby opening a door to reveal a bright light behind it. This ship clearly has a dark side, however, as in another shot, some kind of slimy hell beast is roaring at the Doctor and Ruby, causing them to scream. In another clip from this episode, we see the Doctor in the same outfit pushing a big red button. What this button does and how it may contribute to defeating the monster is unclear, because of all the episodes in the trailer, this is the one that the trailer reveals the least about. Moving on to the one with the Duchess and Jonathan Groff, in contrast to the last one, this is the episode that we are shown the most footage of. The first clip shows the Doctor at a Regency-era ball, waltzing with and making goo-goo eyes with Jonathan Groff's character. The next clip shows Indira Varma's character, the Duchess, saying, "Oh, this is new," right before cutting back to the Doctor, who angrily calls his dance partner a cad. For those who are Tortured fans in the audience, Indira Varma is actually returning to the Whoniverse in this episode, as she previously played the mad Tortured 3 operative Susie Costello back in 2007. In our casting episode back in season 1 of the podcast, we also speculated whether Varma's Duchess would be the same as Duchess Eleanor from the Tortured Audio Golden Age. However, given the Duchess appears at least 200 years before the events of Golden Age, this theory now seems unlikely. Going back to the trailer, the next clip shows the Doctor and Groff's character somewhere underground, lit by candles, with alien technology strewn all over the place, and Groff pointing an alien gun at the Doctor. The next clip shows Ruby, also in Regency-era attire, in a library, hitting someone or something off-camera with a book. This indicates that wherever the Doctor and Ruby have landed, they've landed in the middle of a Regency-era ball where nefarious activities are being orchestrated either by aliens or someone in the audience, and Groff's character, as well as potentially the Duchess, are in league, or they are the culprits. The final clip from this episode shows the Doctor, still in his ball attire, in the alien's ship or lair with his sonic screwdriver, saying the line "classic" enthusiastically, clearly having duped the main villain of this episode somehow. Moving on to the one with the Beatles and Jinx Monsoon, the first clip from this episode shows the Doctor and Ruby in 1960s attire in the TARDIS. The next clip that we see shows them walking through the streets somewhere, with the Doctor excitedly saying Abbey Road Studios. For those Beatles fans in the audience, you'll know that this is where the Beatles recorded virtually all of their music between 1962 and 1970, giving us an approximate idea of when this episode takes place. We also see the Doctor and Ruby in the studios with the Beatles about to record. And additionally, we see a clip with Jinx Monsoon's character, the Music Meister, as the Doctor says in a voiceover in this clip, "There are powers beyond this universe." This provides a partial clue to a mystery left over from the 60th anniversary special, The Giggle, where the last words spoken by the Toy Master before his defeat were, "My legions are coming," indicating that the Music Meister may be one of those legionnaires. The clip cuts to outside, where two people, possibly the Doctor and Ruby, are being cornered by four Beatle-like characters, hinting that the Music Meister's role in this episode may involve turning the Fab Four into these monstrous Beatles, perhaps even providing an in-universe explanation for the band's name, which would be quite amusing. This episode is also where I think that the Doctor and Ruby may bump into a young Mrs. Flood, who may appear as a side character in the episode and become embroiled in the adventure, living to remember it in her early years. Moving on to the one with Rose, Mel and Unit, this one comes as no surprise to those who've been keeping up with the media, as both Yasmin Finney and Bonnie Langford have both confirmed that they would appear in the upcoming season. From the episode, we can see it set in modern day, with the Doctor being summoned by Unit to deal with an alien threat. Also, for those who've kept up with the media, we also know that in this episode that Jenna Redgrave and Ruth Madley will be returning as Kate and Shirley respectively in this episode as well. In the clip, we see that Rose meets with the Doctor again at Unit HQ. While it's unclear how they'll explain why she's there and Donna isn't, based on the events of The Giggle, it's likely that they'll explain it by saying something along the lines of Donna being on holiday with her very generous holiday allowance, and Rose was brought in to help Mel, who has become a close family friend of the Nobles and the bi-generated 14th Doctor. In another clip, we see the Doctor and Mel on a moped in a high-speed chase throughout London, clearly in pursuit of the suspects in this case. For those who are unaware, this is actually a stunt that Bonnie Langford herself requested to do when she returned to the show. That said, there aren't many other clues that jump out for this episode either, leaving us all to wonder who the main villain in this episode is going to be, and how this episode may play out. Overall, this teaser was jam-packed with clues and clips of what is clearly going to be a very exciting series landing in May of 2024. And I, for one, am very excited to see what Doctor Who has in store for us this season. That concludes today's episode, folks. What did you think of the Next Time trailer? Perhaps you guys noticed something we didn't, in which case, please leave us a comment on our Instagram and TikTok pages. You can also join our Reddit page to have further discussion on the content of this and other episodes. And as always, see you next time on Tardisian Files.